Hello there, Dan the Weatherman here. Hey, welcome to my weather show. This is the global edition. We're going to take a look at things going on around the globe. The big story for the Northern Hemisphere, no surprise, Northern Hemisphere summer, has been heat. Lots and lots of temperatures. This is looking at Europe. All the red dots, and you probably can't see the numbers, but where you see a red one, 20s and 30s. Typical stuff, some 40s to Iberia. Been very, very warm, but the big thing noticing temperatures has been how far north we're getting some of the heat. Northern parts of Scandinavia, even Lapland, for instance, they've been well into the 20s. The same sort of thing across parts of Asia and northern parts of North America. 30s and 40s. Yeah, no surprise, but it's further north, even into the Northwest Territories, places like Robertson Lake, Northwest Territories, 26, that is some 15, 17 degrees above where we should be for the time of year. And then that little orange blob there, 30 degrees to northern parts, this is Asia, northern parts of Siberia, where normally they should be about 10 or 12, so well above. And that's the thing we've been seeing. I always show this map with the blues and the oranges and the rusty red colours. The anomalies, where it's warmer, where it's colder, and you always see them flexing up and down, but we're seeing lots and lots of red, the extremes or the warmth really going just really frighteningly warm across some of the extreme northern latitudes. Going through the week, a couple of things to point out. That blob will sit there, warm weather across the midsection of North America. You'll notice these colourful surges there into Antarctica, and you're thinking, well, winter, what's going on? Because you get the deepening lows, they send the warm surges, and on the backside you get these cold surges through. Much colder than normal would be the case across parts of South America with a cold surge there. Look at that blob of really just bright red sitting there. It just lingers. The upper ridge is very, very strong. Bit of a cool surge of sorts coming out of parts of Manitoba into parts of Ontario, but it will certainly be warm again, but also it's northern areas where we're seeing all that extreme warmth. And down south, a couple of surges of warmth here and there, South Africa, Australia, and we're losing some of that cold that we've been seeing to New Zealand. At least that fridge door has been closed for the time being. A lot of oomph in the jet stream further south, cold air surging into parts of South America with that bend there, ridging or quieter weather to South Africa and as well to parts of New Zealand as that works in. And then look at this thing here. Take one look at the jet stream, you think that looks like a wiggly snake. And because you get more up and down, when you get more up and down, more amplitude, that is more oomph into the weather systems. That's why we've seen not just, of course, warm and cold when you go, well, yeah, it's summer, but you get more oomph, more power into these weather systems. And that was certainly the case across western parts of North America over the past week. Of course, the flooding we saw in Yellowstone, a big, deep upper trough. Notice through the week, we get another weather system barreling its way into western parts of Europe. That's all the energy in the jet stream. But if you notice how the jet stream kind of is, it just looks like a piece of spaghetti across northern areas. Yeah, you are in summer, but the jet stream is way far north. There is nothing here. And even though we have the Indian monsoon, it is very, very weak. And that's because the warm air is surging. The mountains of warm air are just growing, and even the same sort of thing across parts of northern Canada. This is the flooding we saw to, of course, Yellowstone over the past week. And people say, well, very heavy rains, summer rains, but this is where we get the extremes. This is where we get that oomph in the weather systems. This is the rainfall over the last week across parts of the US, where you see that really sort of purpley color there. That is 6 times what they should have had in the span of the week. 6 times. So you look at a seasonal outlook and it goes, should have been drier. Well, it's not going to be drier because of all that oomph. And it's the extremes, the flex and the wiggliness and volatility of the jet stream. Something like that creates energy, creates squeeze, and gets the moisture out of the clouds. And at the same time, you get surges of warmth on the other side. So what's going to happen this week? The weather will be quieter across North America. Big area of high pressure, flow is like that. That sends a surge of warmth well north. You see that red line there? That's always that warm line we see well into the 80s Fahrenheit, moving into parts of Canada. Storms have gone. The upper ridge has moved away from parts of the Rockies. By the end of the week, that high has drifted east, quieter across the western parts of the Atlantic as far as hurricanes go, but a different story there to the Mexican Riviera. Could be a couple of tropical troublemakers there. One that could move perhaps towards the Gulf of California later in the week. We will see. But it is otherwise quieter, but of course heat has been the big story. Mentioned that. Look at the temperatures just flexing themselves through. Where you see the very, very darkish red to white, that's triple-digit heat in Fahrenheit, well above 100 degrees. And notice how this just surges through the course of the week. Well north, literally into the Canadian Arctic. Now let's go ourselves further along to Europe. We've had quiet weather, we've had heat as well, big surge of warmth coming out of parts of Africa. That's even moved towards the British Isles. But a low will sit here, and the high sitting to the west of Europe, a massive high. It's a 1040, pretty big. That would send in settled weather, but you've got all these little bits and pieces moving about. Still going to get some warmth with high pressure by the later parts of the week over the continent, but there'll still be little blobs of blue, still some showers over Iberia, perhaps across southern parts of France, to the British Isles. Cooler, of course. You're going to get stuff coming in from the Atlantic. And we pick that up too with the temperatures. Look at all the red here. 37 degrees as we start the week in Paris. For London, you'll have already had your warm day. You've already had your summer. Well, not to speak, but you're into the green. That's the Atlantic flow. But notice as well, all that red, all that heat stays. You lose it fluctuating a bit. Paris, by the later in the week, we're back into the 20s, but the 30s are still there. Italy, and then spots east. You get that surge from the Atlantic, that's that green, keeping it somewhat cooler. But you do get some heat moving to Scandinavia by the end of the week. Notice the 20s there, creeping themselves well north. Heading our way east, we look at the Indian Ocean. There's been some extreme rainfall. Look at that blob, boom, come to life there across eastern parts of India. Some devastating flooding there that they've seen. Of course it is the monsoon, but this thing is an upper disturbance. You get the flow like that higher up in the atmosphere. You get the southwest flow like that and a big strong upper trough. That brings the moisture to life. The Indian monsoon has been sort of stuttering, but it's really come to life here. That is Bangladesh. That's the southwest coast of India, and those areas there seeing the heaviest rainfall, and unfortunately the areas that have seen that devastating flooding, northeast areas, could still see that risk of some more wet weather there as you go through the course of the week. That's the weather for now.